Knives Out, but throw in a werewolf.
Get on the internet!
Also, there's a dead body under your porch.
Holy!
Werewolves Within is a horror comedy from Scare Me director Josh Ruben. It stars Sam Richardson and Milana Vaintrub, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and it tells the story of a young park ranger who moves to Beaversfield, a small town in the mountains where the locals are all out there, and when a freak snowstorm forces them all to gather in a lodge together, they're forced to face their own interpersonal drama as well as the fact that there is a creature, possibly a werewolf, picking them off one by one. So for those of you who didn't see my collab over on Girly Gore, I really enjoyed Scare Me. It was a super unique, wildly entertaining middle finger to the idea of show don't tell, and it drew my attention to how fast-paced and clever and witty Josh Ruben's style of writing is. I mean, the guy essentially wrote a movie about having writer's block, and it worked, so I was really excited to see his next project based on the game Werewolves Within. Do you have feet made of lead? Okay, have any of you guys played Secret Hitler? It's like that, except instead of Nazis, it's a werewolf. Lots of finger pointing, lots of lying to your friends. Really the only acceptable reason to lie to your friends. And I also want to just point out that it is really funny that, in a meta sense, Josh Ruben's character in Scare Me was writing a werewolf movie, and his next film ended up being a werewolf movie. Werewolves Within takes everything that worked about Scare Me, the single location, the punchy, dry humor, and editing, and expands them, turning the single location into a small town, nearly tripling the number of characters. And for better and for worse, those things really allowed Ruben to have a lot of fun here, and his style really gets to shine through. The humor is pretty excellent. There are a lot of jokes being thrown around every few seconds, and yeah, not all of them land, but the sheer quantity of them, you're going to laugh at some of these. The humor is pretty excellent. There are a lot of really great jokes being thrown around, both in terms of visual and dialogue. And just in terms of sheer quantity, yeah, there are gonna be some that don't land. But even so, at least one of the dozen jokes happening per scene or quick one-liners is gonna get a laugh out of you. It's helped by the eccentric cast of characters, all of whom are played brilliantly by some pretty well-known character actors. With such a large cast of familiar faces, Ruben's dry, biting humor, and the fact that this movie is a whodunit at its core, it really would pair well with Knives Out. And I mean that in a good way. Every single character here is really damn memorable. They all have their own idiosyncrasies, and they're all really, really fucking weird, and you can't help but have them leave an impression on you. From Trish's incomprehensible whining tone throughout the entire movie to how deathly serious the scientist lady is, it's a total blast from beginning to end, and you will not forget a single one of these characters. But it's Sam Richardson as Finn who really steals the show here. Finn is a dude who is just way too nice for his own good, consistently puts himself and his own needs last. He's kind of a pushover, but Sam Richardson plays the role in such a charming way that you just want to see the guy learn to stand up for himself, because he's so damn likable. And his chemistry with Milana Vaintrub as Cecily, the town's local male person, makes it genuinely impossible to not smile every time they're on screen together. Not everything works here though. Like I said, there are a lot of jokes in this movie, and not all of them are going to land. It doesn't quite have that unique pop that Scare Me had, because at the end of the day, we have seen whodunit movies before, and this film does ultimately follow that formula very well. And the werewolf spin is cool, but it doesn't do enough to change it. The film is a little all over the place in the middle section, particularly in the first half of the second act. It drags a little bit too long, but it's completely worth it when you get to the absolute insanity of the final act, the last 30 minutes or so of this film, where the shit just hits the fan in the funniest way possible, and everything explodes in the most over-the-top way. All that to say, in spite of its flaws, I thought Werewolves Within was absolutely delightful. It's a genuinely funny, charming spin on a murder mystery film that rewards you for paying attention, and it's one that provides enough gore and laughs and quick wit to be a memorable time. It's a cute, fun, violent little film with a lot of heart behind it, and it makes me excited to see what Ruben decides to tackle next. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel, you want to see more, click down there, like, comment, subscribe. Patreon link in the description if you want to be like any of these cool people right here. I would really appreciate it. Get updates on all the cool projects that I'm working on the side, like Lilith, which comes out in less than a week on VOD, or Diviner, which I'm going into production on the next day. You can find out all that and more if you click the links down below. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.
Wait, please, don't spare me.
Oh, please don't. Oh, please. Please don't bother the lock.
Me. I
Oh
couldn't
my
do that
goodness. I
myself.
could have
Wow.
gotten it.